Hello, friends. Steve Stockton here with you. Today, we're bringing you an unusual case, the strange disappearance of Jesse Farber. Let's walk and see. On August 11th, 2015, 29-year-old Jesse Farber, also known as Rex, called his girlfriend in a panic and conveyed to her that he was being chased by coyotes and was in a tree. Farber was walking in the Tamaqua, Pennsylvania area near a place called the Coal Hills when he said a pack of coyotes chased him up a tree. According to his girlfriend, Rachel Carroll, who we're going to talk to in an exclusive interview toward the end of this video. At around 7:20 p.m., a man reported seeing Farber walking around the S-curves on Hunter Street headed south away from Tamaqua. This area leads to a trail that has coal fields littered with mining holes in the ground, some as deep as 140 feet. Tamaqua Police Chief Henry Wood stated it was possible Farber imagined coyotes in some sort of hallucination before he ran and fell into one of the hundreds of deep coal pits on the mountain. Police Chief Woods went on to say, "Our theory is that he was under the influence, thinking coyotes were chasing him, and he comes down from the tree, and he runs west, runs all the way by these stripping holes, and falls into one." Norma Fritz, Jesse Farber's mother, thinks otherwise, though. There's been talk about a little drug gang, and lots of rumors that they did away with him, that it wasn't animals chasing him at all, it was a gang called the Coyotes. There's rumors that he was shot and put through a wood chipper. That's the most horrendous rumor, the grieving mother said. Police have followed the rumors and have found no supporting evidence that the rumors are true. In December of 2016, a man hunting in the area where Farber said he was found a pair of sweatpants and, knowing about the case, called Farber's grandparents to identify the piece of clothing. While in the area and having established that the pants did in fact belong to their grandson, the grandmother spotted a bag tied in the tree near where the sweatpants were found. Allegedly, the items in the bag also belonged to Farber, which included a pin his grandfather had given him. The police were able to use the area where the items were found to piece together a timeline of the eyewitness sighting at 7:20 p.m. on August 11, 2015, when Farber was spotted by passing motorists and when the phone call was placed to his girlfriend. Police stated that it takes an hour and 49 minutes to walk from the S-curve where the motorist saw Farber to the Coal Hill tree where the items were found. Woods went on to say, if Farber were panicked and went running moments later, he probably plunged down a deep hole in the dark. The holes are all around the path, and there's no way you could run through there without falling into one of those holes. Immediately after Farber was reported missing, search and rescue teams descended on the area and began to search for him. This was the area where he was initially reported as being. They went up behind the high school yelling for him, and they didn't hear anything. Actually, they were nowhere close to where the bag was found in the tree. It was miles away, Wood stated. Farber's mother said that she'd been to the skinny tree several times since her son went missing and said she had no sense that her son died on that mountain or that her son would wander off, frightened by visions of coyotes, climb any tree, then run off a cliff. She also doubts that Farber left his sweatpants and bag in the tree and thinks that evidence was planted, adding that it was more likely the coyote gang that planted the items to throw police off the investigation. Fritz wants the police to investigate the drug gang angle and believes they targeted her son. I personally eat, sleep, and breathe looking for my son, and the police, they're physically not doing anything, Fritz stated when asked how she thought the police were handling the case. The Tamaqua police, however, say that they have investigated the gang angle and have even offered several people arrested a deal if they could provide information as to the whereabouts of Farber, but no one knew anything, according to the police. There have been several searches done with cadaver dogs that have turned up nothing, but the police said they're still willing to keep searching. This August 11th was the 7th anniversary of Jesse Farber's disappearance. His mother has set up a Facebook page for outside tips and information from the public. Search for Jesse Farber missing. We'll have a link in the description. This case also caused new legislation to be passed in how missing persons cases are handled in the state. Norma Jean Fitz-Yasko helped get a bill passed that requires law enforcement to collect a person's DNA within 10 days of them being reported missing and entering into NamUs, a national DNA database. Currently, there are only 10 states with such laws, with Pennsylvania making the 11th. On average, there are about 660,000 people reported missing, and Pennsylvania ranks 10th in the nation, with unsolved missing person cases at 467. NamUs also allows family members to enter information about their missing loved ones, which could aid in helping them to be found. you have any information on the whereabouts of Jesse Farber or any details about the night he went missing, please contact the Tamaqua Police Department at 570-668-5000 and reference NamUs Case ID 30732. And now here's that exclusive interview with Jesse's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his children. Today on the phone with me is Rachel Carroll, who reached out to us to help her find the father of her children who went missing in the woods 7 years ago yesterday. Rachel, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, and I understand that that's probably a hard anniversary for you anytime the time of year comes around again, especially your children.
Yes, it was. Yes.
And but I want to say thank you for reaching out to us. We'd love to help keep his name out there and boost the signal and get it in front of
And
us.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you would there, go ahead, and it's a strange case. Go ahead there and tell us your version of what happened.
Okay, so Jesse Farber, also known as Jesse Reck, he went missing on August 11th, 2015 in Tamaqua, PA. What happened is that Jesse called me at 8:43 p.m. The first thing he told me was to bring guns. He said he was in the mountain behind the Tamaqua area high school. He told me he was in a tree and that 10 to 11 coyotes were after him. He also said that his phone was about to die. He switched his location from the high school to the elementary school mountain, and then he went back to the high school. When I asked him for sure where he was, he said the high school. And I asked him again, he said, yeah, the high school. And just as I asked him for his exact location there, he started to speak, and then his phone hung up. I called back immediately a bunch of times, and it just went right to the voicemail. And so within just a few minutes, I went right up to the high school mountain, and me and my brother were up there searching for quite a while. We were driving around, beeping. We turned the car off and listened. We walked around on foot. We were yelling to him, and there was nothing up there at all. We couldn't find anything. So then after we were up there for a few hours, I went and I called the Tamaqua police, and they took a report and they put him on they said it was like a national missing persons list or whatever immediately. And so after that, searches were involved. There were searches on foot, cadaver dogs. There was a search of an air shaft. There was underwater searches. There was drones, military helicopters. A lot of things were done, but nothing was ever found. And his book bag was found later. I think it was December of 2016, where his family identified it as his. But in my opinion, I don't believe that that is his bag. I was never able to see that bag myself. I can't even get to look at a picture of it or anything to know for sure. And pretty much that's where I'm at now. I'm looking for help in any way that I can to get more searches done or get any groups or organizations that'll help me in spreading his name and his story and hopefully in finding answers and bringing him home.
Yeah, well, we're happy to help you spread that awareness and keep his name out there. I understand that you have two young children together, and you said earlier that they suffer his disappearance every day, so that's got to be rough on them.
Yeah, it is a hard, they're doing okay. I mean, they have a hard time every now and then, but they're doing the best they could. They're strong.
Well, God bless them. Now, you mentioned I have just a couple questions here for you. We're putting together a
Sure.
video here to go along with this. But now you mentioned that it was he said there was 10 or 11 coyotes that chased him up a tree. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what he told me. He said he was in the tree at the time that he called me.
And I mean, coyote attacks are rare. It does happen, especially when they travel in packs like that. It looks to me like if it had been coyotes, and then my first question really was, did he mean coyotes like the animals, or sometimes human traffickers or smugglers are referred to as coyotes? I thought maybe people were after him, but you think, based on what he said, that it was animal coyotes, correct?
Yeah, from what he told me or what it sounded like to me, I think that he meant the animals, but I don't necessarily believe that it was animals because I really think that there would have been some kind of evidence found if there was any kind of animal attack. Because I mean, there's mountain lions and bears here and stuff also, but there would have been some kind of evidence left behind if any kind of animal attack had happened, and there was nothing.
I totally agree. If there was any kind of animal predation, there would be some physical or forensic evidence left behind. There, I mean, even if they eat the entire person, sorry to say that, but
Right,
they don't eat your clothing, they don't eat your belt buckle, they don't eat your shoes, things like that. Plus,
right.
there would have been a disturbance in the ground cover and other, like I said, forensic evidence and things. There would have been some sign of a struggle and
Yes,
stuff beyond that.
definitely.
So that in and of itself is kind of strange. Now, also, the part about him being confused about which mountain he was on sounds like there's one behind the high school and then a different one behind the elementary school.
Yeah, like in Tamaqua, it's like kind of like in a ditch, and it's surrounded by mountains. And we spent a lot of time on the mountains, and that's kind of like the names that we had for them. Like we would call the mountain that was behind the high school mountain, and the one behind the elementary mountain. So that's what he meant when he said that, and I understood that. But yeah, that bothers me a lot. Why he changed it as if he wasn't sure where he was. And the other thing that bothers me too is, like I said, we've spent a lot of time back there. Me, Jesse, our friends, our family, and if he would have been able to tell me something like, a certain area, most likely I would have known exactly where he meant. So for the phone to cut out at that exact time, that bothers me a lot because I feel like if I would have got that piece of information, I probably would have known exactly where he was talking about because we knew those mountains so well. So
Yeah,
that part, that's bothersome too because it was.
unfortunate timing there for that to happen. So he was familiar
Yeah,
with the area, and you said it's somewhere where y'all spent a lot of time together. So he
yeah.
knew the area well. Now, have you ever encountered coyote or anything? And therefore, you mentioned bears, mountain lions. Have you ever seen any big animals in there
I've
before?
I've seen bears. I've seen a mountain lion once. I seen a coyote one time, and it was by itself, and it was like pretty big, and I was kind of shocked to see it. But otherwise, I never seen any coyotes or anything. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of different animals up there. But yeah, I've never seen coyotes except for that one time.
And I'm thinking since he was up a tree and obviously afraid of what was about to happen, that might have been why he was confused about the location exactly.
Yeah, possibly.
Again, here I'm just throwing things out there, but yeah, this
Right.
the whole thing sounds kind of strange. I mean, you don't hear that many coyote attacks. I read some statistics, and you're more likely to be killed by an errant golf ball or a champagne
Yeah.
cork than you are a coyote attack. So
Right. I think it's strange also. I really do. I spend every day trying to figure that phone call out. Every single thing that he said to me in that call is weird. Like him even mentioning to bring guns. At that time, I didn't even own guns. So it's just everything about it was really weird. And I also wondered, like, if he was in the woods, like, why did he wait till that exact point to call me? Like, why didn't he try and call earlier? Maybe he didn't have the opportunity, but it just so happened that he called right when the phone was about to die. And it's all very strange and it doesn't make sense.
yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, do you know what he was doing in that area? Was he just out there hiking or just enjoying nature or
Well, on the Tamaqua side of that mountain, on the other side of the mountain, you could say, is Lewistown Valley, and his grandmother lived out there, and that's where he was staying. And but also on the other side of that mountain, we both worked at Libby's Dairy, so I wondered if he was, because there was a way that him and his brothers used to, like, there was a shortcut they had over the mountain and they would be able to come right out into their Graham's backyard. So I was thinking, was he trying to get there or was he trying to take a shortcut to work? But I still find it strange that he would try to walk that distance instead of just calling for a ride.
calling for a ride? Yeah, the whole thing. And it almost, and this is just to me, an outsider, almost sounds like he may have been talking in code or trying to say something to you without coming right out and saying it. But I don't know. It's just, like I said, the whole thing, there's just lots of bizarre pieces about it. And then you said the book bag was later found in a tree. But since you
Yeah.
haven't been able to see it, you're not even sure if it was his book bag or not. And
Yeah, I'm not.
so was that taken into evidence by the police, or?
It was not. His family had identified it by a pin they said that was on the bag. But that's another reason that I have trouble believing that because my son has possession of that pin right now. So that's the weird thing. And the police don't have it in evidence. They never took it in the evidence. They released it to his mom, which I've asked her to show me, even a photo of the bag, and she just refuses to do that because I feel like if I could see that bag, I would know if it was his or not.
Yeah.
And by that, I'd be able to tell if he was really ever there or not. But I mean, I could be wrong, but I just do not believe that was his.
Again, another strange circumstance. And as I mentioned there, 7 years ago, yesterday, that it happened. Now, there are several different theories that we've spoken of. Some we can talk about, some we can't, just because it. Now, is it, do the police, do they consider it a cold case, or is it still an open investigation and ongoing?
The last that I talked to them, they said it's considered open still, but that nothing new has really come up in a while. So
Now, is there a tip line or a Facebook page or a website where anybody can go if they did have some information to share about the case?
usually they usually like what I put on the missing flyer I just made. I put the police's phone number and then like I have a contact number. I know his family has their own number to contact them also, and I know his mother has a missing person page for him on Facebook.
Okay, we'll put links to all that in the video. You did forward me a copy of the flyer there.
Okay.
I'll put that information in there. Well, Rachel, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and we'll certainly do all we can to keep his name and his memory out there in case somebody does. Somebody somewhere knows something. Somebody knows exactly what happened
I
to
believe
him,
that.
and it
I
could be
believe
that
that.
one little piece of information, no matter how inconsequential it might seem to someone, that might be what's needed to make it to crack
Exactly.
the case open. But again, thank you,
Exactly.
and our hearts go out to you and your children, and hopefully we can get some tips in, or at least make people aware of it.
Yes, and thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely, that's what we're here for. You have any parting words or requests or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
I would just like to say thank you for listening to Jesse's story, and thank you for listening and helping in any way that you can spread his name, his story around. And if anyone has any information, if you could report it to the Tamaka police, even if it's anonymous. Anything is helpful. Even the littlest thing that you think wouldn't connect could mean a lot in this case. And thank you very, very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It's our pleasure to help you and your children out there. And if the audience, if the listeners have any further questions, I'll forward those to you, and we'll do an update at some point.
Sure.
All right. Well, we will let you go. Thanks again for your time. And I hope for the best. And, hug your kids for me. That just breaks my heart
I
anytime there's
will.
children involved. We've got a case out here in New Mexico that we covered. It involves missing, murdered indigenous women, which is almost an epidemic out here. And it talked about the
Yeah.
little boy would text his mom every day, saying, "Mommy, when are you coming home?" And she's been missing for a couple of years. And that just tears your heart out to think about that. I mean, I can't imagine.
It is. It's very sad because they're so young and they don't understand, and they just want their parent, and it is. It's very sad. And I give my kids a lot of credit for their strength. I really do. Thank you again, Steve. I really appreciate this. Like I can't even say in words like what this means to me, my kids, my family.
I understand. And not knowing would have to be the worst. I mean, closure either way to find out, where he is and what happened, but to not know one way or the other, that's torture.
It is. It's having to grieve like continuously, and it's hard, but I have hope.
Okay. Well, bless your heart. God bless all of you there.
Thank you.
Well, friends, there you have it. What do you think of this strange case? I look forward to your comments, but please keep it friendly and respectful, as we do expect the family to watch this video and read the comments. Till we meet again, be good to yourselves and each other. Stay safe out there. As for me, I'll see you a little farther on down the trail. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll talk to you next time. Tell your pets I said hi.